Hey, it's Scott again. I want to show you ImageTrend did a update to the education module, and with that, there's some differences, some changes in the way that we input the trainings, and so we want to go over that and kind of review it. So again, you log in, hit the training button as before. Now here's where things start to change a little bit. Before, all you had under here was manage courses and straight to that ability. Now, all of the training things, whether it's your personal report, your course lookup for courses that are going on, or your ability to manage your own courses is under the training button. So to enter training or manage a training you've already entered, you'll hit manage courses. That will pop over to show you your courses. Again, like I said, it'll show me a lot more than it'll show you because I have access to everybody's stuff. But you'll come up here, add course, or if you want to manage something you've already put in, you'll put in the date range that you created it on. Or you know that it was in this week, today, last 30 days, last 90 days. It'll let you work through the process. So we're going to add a new course. So we'll click the Add New Course button on the top right. And the details page, very similar to what we did before. Again, the name, most of what we're going to be dealing with is an in-service training. What I've started doing for some of the national courses, and I'm still working on these, and we'll see how this works through, is if you select PHTLS or you initial or PHLS refresher or currently BDLS or ACLS. Those courses have in them already the topical hour breakdown for that course. But for today, we're just going to look at the in-service training. I'm going to modify the way we do our initial classes a little bit as well to clean that up. Again, training hours or training number is automatically generated by the system. Course type, whether it's continuing ed, initial, one of the national courses, refresher, transition, whichever it is. Status, and more related to initial courses, but feel free to complete a status if you would like, either approved, completed, in progress, whichever the case is. Then, again, your location. You can remember the location is the host agency, and so you won't have access to all of them. You'll have access to either yours or unlisted. And if you do unlisted, just please again remember that needs to be documented in the description down here. We also still have the unlisted instructor. So if you have an instructor that's not one of our designated folks to input training, you add that in here. Course held at CCC. BLM cardiac case review. So you can add that in there. Another thing that we've added is a multiple dates tab. Where this will work well is if you're working with an organization like one of our industrial services or one of our fire departments that has separate shifts, but they still are going to conduct the exact same training. Say A shift is going to do the training on the 1st, B shift on the 13th, C shift on the 18th. You can hit the multiple dates button. It'll add a multiple dates tab, and it'll allow you to add that training to those multiple dates, the exact same training. Start and stop times. So again, put in your date that the course started. Remember before we really harped on the end date. Now start date, end date are both required fields. So you'll see the asterisk by both of those. So you have to put those in. It's not an option anymore. And the reason we found was we have a number of trainings in the system still where people have not put dates in. So because there's no dates, it's not giving credit for those classes to folks. The other option we have now is times. If you have a class that runs 8 to noon, you can put those times in there. isn't as important for the classes we've already completed, but if you're going to put a class in for the future and you want the students to know, be able to go in and see it, they know when it starts, when it ends, they can go in, look at that, make it work. Test date, again, more for our initial classes, but if you want to put a test date in there, you have a course that, ACLS or CPR, you can put that in, make it happen. Allow registration. This is another one of those things. Say you are having a CPR class and you want to open it up to everybody in your organization or neighboring organizations. You can build the class in here, advertise it, and say, hey, go to the portal to register. They can come in here, do the registration, and it'll allow them to do the registration. Some of the things you would do with that is you would set your attendees sign up start and end dates, and if there's a time associated with that. And the other thing you can do is you can do a max attendee count. Say you only have enough mannequins and instructors to support 20 students. Then you just come in here, put in your 20, and as it's taking in registrations, it will only allow 20 people to register. After that, it'll say, sorry, you're too late, and it won't allow those registrants. The other part of that is as soon as that person signs up, it'll send an email off to that trainer, or if we'd call them here, or instructor that's documented, and say, hey, Joe Blow has signed up, Jimmy John's signed up, Car Fox has signed up for this course, and let you know where you are in that process. Remember, description is available to students, instructors, everybody. Internal note is only visible to instructors and administrators. So again, keep going through. Your next step this is kind of one of those things that changes. You hit save and continue, and it'll bounce you over to your topical hours. So as you go through, the save and continue button takes you to the next step in the process. So this is something that we're having an issue with, and we're not 100% sure why. According to ImageTrend, this doesn't happen. But sometimes you'll get in here and you won't be able to add a topic. And what you'll end up having to do is we'll go through, we'll finish saving out the class, then we go back into it and add that topic in. Or the other option is you would think you could come up here, hit add the topic, but you add that topic, it still doesn't work. So save and continue, bounce over to documents, begin to upload any documents you have. If there's a course description, syllabus, course roster, any of those documents, you come in, you add, and then you keep going forth in that. Since we didn't add anything, I'm going to hit the back button. It takes me back to the main document screen. Save and continue over to tests. Same thing. Come in, add your test. Remember, at this point, we're just setting up the test. So if this is the Unit 1 test, Unit 1 covers 1 to 5. The test date, we'll say that was today. Remember, the simple direct rating method is that number score. Obviously, pass-fail is pass-fail. So test was worth 100 points, and this is a unit test for us. Remember, we have pre-test, module, final homework. So any of those that you want to document are in there. If there's others that you need or that you want, let me know. We'll add them in. So again, that adds in the test. Save and continue brings us over to the confirmation. So this shows us that the description, the location, the instructor. Right now, remember, it's showing us no topics were added because those weren't added in there. No documents were uploaded, and 1 test. And then the training date. So another new button is this Add Training button. So now you hit the Add Training. It'll go in, it'll give you your courses. So you come in, we want to see trainings that were created today, because we just added it. Hit go, brings us into this training. Now we click our in-service training button. Click, gives us our details like we saw before, gives us that ability to copy training, add another training as needed. But now we can go into our topical hours. Click on topical hours and it gives us this. This is what it should have done for us the first time through, but it didn't. So again, that's something I have a ticket in with ImageTrend to try to get it fixed to see why it does that from time to time. So we're working on that. Case reviews. Remember, case reviews skills are a one-for-one process. So if we do a case review today and we review 3 or 4 trips, it's still, we're meeting having one case review. Could take us 1 hour, could take us 4 hours, but it is a case review. From there, we'll hit the save button. That'll add that case review, and then we come down. We were talking about cardiac today, so that's a medical emergency. This lasted 2 hours. We'll save that. One of the things that we did with this being a medical emergency, talking about cardiac, is we went through and we did our AED skills checkoff. So we can come down to skills and hit AED. So we did our quarterly AED during this process as well. Remember, like I said, skills, case review should always be a whole number. Course hours, so topical hours, can be fractions of an hour. So for an hour and a half, 1.5. Hour and 3/4, 1.75. Again, use that numeric decimal to give us that hour breakdown. I generally wouldn't go any shorter than 1/4 of an hour for going through and looking at these topics. Next one we can hit is our attendees. So again, attendees come in. Remember, we can search for these folks, and you're searching their name, first and last, their email address, cert number. So I want me, I want Johnny. Then we're going to come back up. We're going to add Mr. Kelly. So we're going to pull up Brandon, check off Brandon, and you'll see it'll give us our list. You can either do this add selected provider after each person, or you can go through and hit a large group of people and find them and go through and add them that way too. So we'll just go with these 3 folks. So hit add selected providers. Again, brings us up to our list. And one of the items that I added is, say you have your set roster. You know who's going to be there every time. We can set this up ahead of time, plan out your year, add your trainings, and if you have everything and say, oh, Johnny didn't show up. So we could actually we added a did not attend status. So Brandon passed, I passed, Johnny didn't show. So this way you can keep it in there if you want to. You can keep that person. Do not attend will not give them credit. Remember, the only 2 categories that will give somebody credit for the class are pass and completed. And the reason we have those 2 is some people said, well, pass only affects us if we took a test. So, but if they came to a training and finished the training, it's just they completed the training. So semantics, but I added it in there to help people that wanted to keep that a little bit separate in their minds. So pass and completed, again, are the only 2 that will give people credit for attending that course. If you don't want to use the do not attend and you have your roster built out, you can always check the delete box. It'll take that person off of that training. Again, at the end, hit save. So that way it'll save the status of the folks that attended that class, but you can still always come back and modify it. But again, make sure the status is done. Documents, again, upload any documents you want, and now tests. So now we have our attendees set up. So we have our Unit 1 test. So we click on that. Everybody took it today. So I can click the today button, or everybody took it, yesterday. And since I already have today in there, it's not going to drop that down. But whatever date you put in here initially will drop down. Again, Johnny didn't attend, so we take his out. But, Brandon went through, and he's a really smart fella. He got 100. I'm adequate. I passed, but I only got a 90. So I go in, save those scores after I put them in, and now they're entered. So again, that's the process. Like I said, we're working on that topical hours to try to show that, try to get that fixed so it always works. So we're working on that, but hopefully when you hit that topical hours the first time, it's going to drop down. If not, remember, go through, add the training, save the class, then we can come back and put that in. Like always, if there's something that's not working for you, something we could do better, please let me know, and we'll keep working on it. We're going to keep developing this. We're further along, obviously, than we were a month ago, further along we were 6 months ago. So let me know. Let me know how we can help you, what we can do to make it work, and how we can make things better for you. So if you have any questions, feel free to call me or email me, and we'll make it happen. Have a great day.